Welcome to the Forsyth Magazines podcast. I'm Brooke Eagle, your host, bringing you the stories of the people shaping our community. From business owners to local leaders, we'll explore their journeys, passions, and lessons learned. Let's dive in. Hey guys, we are back with another podcast episode, and today I have Amy Reynolds with me. She is the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Customer Engagement for Flow Automotive. Hey Amy.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. It's good to see you, Brooke.
Good to have you here with us today. So I want to just start off with a little getting to know you and your background and how you got into this role that you're at today.
Sure. Well, it's been a long road and a really interesting one for me. I started selling cars for Flow Automotive companies back in 2002. So I just dated myself officially to everybody who was listening. But it was one of my first jobs, soon out of college, and I started selling Volkswagens right here in Winston-Salem. And
I love that you're a woman who is selling cars. I feel like that's not super duper common.
Yeah, you know what? It's more common than you would think. It honestly is. It's more common than you would think. And it was a lot of fun. I guess there were fewer of us back then. There really were. I think there were two women on the whole complex, three maybe.
What was that like?
It was great. It was great. The culture of our organization is it's a high character, high caring, high challenge culture. There's never been one moment of anybody not treating others with respect, and that comes directly from the Flow family. Those are the values that are laid out as who we are as an organization. So I was always treated very, very well, and it is a very, very challenging business. So that's where the challenge came from. It came from just the fact of, hard things are hard, and selling cars and trying to make sure that you're meeting your customers' needs and meeting your goals. That was the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after you were in the car sales portion, and then where did you go from there?
I worked my way up through the dealerships to like a finance manager and a sales manager. And then at various different times, I was moved from one showroom to another and sort of led those showrooms, the sales departments for various different of our brands here in Winston-Salem. Okay. So Audi and Subaru and Volkswagen and BMW and Buick GMC. So I got a chance to work with all of our different brands in the sales showrooms, and it was really great.
What's your favorite car?
I think that's a dangerous question because Flow has, we have 54 dealerships. We represent 26 different brands in 10 different cities and 2 different states. So it's hard. I've been driving BMWs for many, many years. Yeah. I think there's so many great vehicles out there these days, truthfully. And I've had so many Audis, BMWs. I think I tend to personally lean on the German side of things. Yeah. But Land Rover has some really interesting, really gorgeous product. And it's one of the few products out there that's really unique. Right now, it has its own look and feel that doesn't sort of blend in with everything else. So I really like that.
Yeah, they brought some Land Rovers to the Women on the Move conference a couple weeks ago. And oh my gosh, I was like,
they're gorgeous.
Car.
They're gorgeous. They really are.
The white one. I was like, yep, that's it.
I gravitated to that one too. I love how the door handles go flush.
Did you buy it?
I mean, I thought about it, but
she's got one on order, I think. I don't know.
That really is a dream car for me.
It's gorgeous.
My dad owned a body shop, fixed cars. He retired a few years ago, but we've always been a car family.
Yeah, so that's such great work.
Yeah,
that's a good body work is hard. Like if that's what your dad did, he did. Yeah. A talented person to do that well.
It's very like he's an artistic person. People don't really think about that with like car stuff.
Oh, very much so.
The inside of the car, the motor and engine, no, he don't mess with that at all. But the body of the car, he can fix that up.
That really is a talent and a skill. Yeah. Really good for him. That's
the only bad part is like for his kids, especially his daughter, me, is like when you go visit him, he's gonna do an inspection of that car. So Brooke, when did you get this little scratch right here? And I'm like, I don't know.
Absolutely.
I inherited it.
We park at the back of the parking lot, and we all these rules that we were taught as kids.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. You live with that when you're in an automotive dealer dealership as your profession. You live with
Sure.
that. You got to be careful about it. You're not welcome to damage the inventory, or you're maybe more welcome to scratch something that the dealership owns than you are a customer's car.
Yeah.
You have to be super careful about everything.
Absolutely.
You sort of get that awareness built up over time.
Yeah. So now you're in the marketing and customer engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And are you liking this role? How long have you been in this role? And what does that kind of entail?
I love what I do. I love the car business. It gets in your blood. And I love the company that I work for. So several years ago, back in 2012, I was given the opportunity to start a big department, what became a big department in our management services division, which is kind of what we call our corporate office. And it was the customer relationship center. It was kind of when the whole car business realized that the internet was here to stay, and wasn't a fluke, and people were going to be shopping online and engaging in e-commerce. And so that's how I started, my shift from working in the dealership to working in management services. So I still lead that team. It's about 85 people right here in downtown Winston-Salem at our offices at 500 West 5th. And they serve everybody who's calling in or emailing in or live chatting in. We have people right here who work for the company who are serving those customers. And then in 2019, when I finished my MBA at Wake Forest, I was given the opportunity to also take on responsibility for our marketing department and grow that. So we grew it into a large internal multi-function marketing agency. It has a lot of different functional groups in there, from video production to design to account management, partnerships, events, all the things.
Oh my gosh, you're a busy woman.
Yeah, we do a lot. We do a lot. So those two, we kind of handle the demand capture, the demand generation, all the way through the virtual engagement with our customers. So we're giving them a Flow experience from start to finish.
I love that. I love that. And I knew that Flow started, I think I knew that they started in Winston-Salem, but I did not know how long ago, and that y'all have 54 locations.
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
1957.
Wow. So next year's a big anniversary.
Yeah. The company started, Vic Flow.
How to do my math first.
Please don't ask me to do math off the top of my head. Like, anybody who knows me is like, that's a disaster. Don't let her do that. But I do know the date. I do know that we started with a pre-owned, like a used car pre-owned lot here in Winston-Salem on the property where Volkswagen of Winston-Salem is presently.
Oh, wow.
And that grew and grew and grew. And Vic Flow, who started the company, it was then taken over by Don Flow, who is the CEO of our company now, and his son Eric Flow is the COO of the company now. So I never worked with Mr. Flow, Mr. Vic Flow personally, but I have had a chance to meet him a few times. He's a really fantastic individual, and I've worked for Don Flow for almost 20 years.
I love that it's a family business. Always something special about a family business, and I feel like family businesses in general know how to take care of their people.
That's right. Yeah. We are people. We are people first. And I meant what I said. It's a high care, high challenge environment. I have been given the greatest consideration and support the whole time. So I'm really grateful for that.
So under that Flow umbrella, we have our Land Rover Greensboro, and they sponsored our Women on the Move conference, which was awesome because, like I said, they had the Land Rovers on site. That during cocktail hour at the end of the day, the ladies were just flocking to the Land Rovers to look inside and see what those were about. And it was so much fun to have y'all there.
It was so much fun to be there. I felt like it was my first Women on the Move conference, and that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Your theme and your energy.
I got my boots on today. I'm keeping it going.
I felt like you're keeping it going. Yeah. I thought it was really a lot of fun. It was just, the energy was so great. The presentations were so, I don't really want to use the word empowering because I feel like we already have the power. Sometimes it's about revealing that to ourselves.
That's a good point.
But it was like really awakening, if you will, and enabling, if you will, where it's like sometimes you learn some different tools to put in your tool belt that'll help you use the power you already have.
Yeah.
And it was also just some great time with the women from Land Rover Greensboro because, you mentioned earlier about women in automotive, and there are more of us than you would think, and there are a ton of us at Flow, but that service department is run by a really talented service manager who happens to be a woman. That one of the lead service advisors is a woman. One of the lead sales consultants is a woman. And so they were all there to represent. Yeah. And it was really cool.
Well, you guys did a great video that we put on our Instagram page too that showcase some of those females.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was just so cool because it is, I mean, it's a old school stereotype, but you do think of men it being a male dominated business. So it's really neat to see women in that.
You do think about that. And I'm sure that there are some places where culturally that's, it's skews to that. That's just not, honestly, not the way it is at Flow. It just really isn't. And it's really, if you can do the work, and women are great at this work, I think that's the thing I would like to tell just all women out there who are looking for a profession that you can grow and you can develop your skill set and you can create community and everything. Is just, there are no limitations. Just come in and do a great job. And there's no reason why anybody can't come in and do a great job.
Yeah. Are you guys hiring?
Yes.
If one of our listeners was interested in applying, how would that process work?
The best thing to do is go to flowauto.com.
Okay.
And there's a career page there under About Us. And there you can see with like 2 clicks all of the jobs that are open in all of our markets.
Awesome.
You can be connected with a mentor. Our onboarding and training program is fantastic. They're welcome to, email me if, through that portal if they would like. I'm very happy to help. So
what advice would you give to a young female who was like thinking about getting into this industry?
I've been asked that a whole lot this past month just because of what this past month represents in terms of all the different women's conferences I've had a chance to go to. And my consistent answer every time is just do it. Just do it. Believe in yourself and just do it. And honestly, one of the things that I think helped me the most early on is knowing my product. I know it can seem intimidating, especially if you say, well, gosh, I didn't grow up knowing about cars. Well, I didn't either.
Yeah.
The night before I started my job as a Volkswagen salesperson, I was at the local fair. At that time, I was called the Dixie Classic Fair. Now it's the Carolina Classic Fair. And my husband, who is like one of my biggest champions, my biggest supporter, said, you start work tomorrow at the car dealership. I think I should maybe make sure you know something about the internal combustion engine. I was like, that's probably a good idea. We literally opened the hood of a tractor and he walked me through all the pieces and parts of the internal combustion engine right there in that little Yesterday Village.
I love that you remember that all these years later.
Yeah. And it really helped me because as a person who's a salesperson first, the primary thing is that you're able to give, good, relevant information to your customer. You're able to educate them. And what drew me to the car business in the first place was that I was able to work for a company that cared about being transparent and upfront and honest with customers. I mean, if you think about it, in most of the regions where Flow has dealerships, which is North Carolina and Virginia, in medium market towns, there isn't a whole lot of public transportation. There's not like a metro or things like that. We just don't really have very much of that.
Yeah.
So most people need a car to get around. And for most people, it's either the first or the second most expensive asset that they own or are paying for in their life. So it's a very important part of their financial life in addition to their lifestyle.
Yeah.
They can or can't get the kids to and from school. They can or can't get to their job. They can or can't take care of family and get around and do their normal things like that.
Well, there's so many things to consider. It is such a big purchase. Like for me, I deliver magazines a lot. So I need a hatchback situation to like a 4-door sedan would just never work for me. So there's so many different things it's got to fit your lifestyle. It's got to fit your financial situation. And you've got to have somebody that you can trust who's going to take care of you to like give you good financial advice about buying a car. Yes. Who's unbiased, who's not gonna like, who doesn't just want to sell you the most expensive car so they can get the most commission. Like somebody.
That's right.
Especially for me, I would love to work with a female to buy a car because it would just, I don't know, I feel like we could be on the same page and I wouldn't feel as intimidated.
Absolutely. And, I would hope that nobody would feel intimidated by any of our sales professionals or sales managers. I really would hope that. But everybody brings their true, authentic self when they come to go shopping and they have whatever experiences happened to them before. So if it makes you feel more comfortable to work with a woman, they're all over the place and there's plenty of options. And also don't forget some women don't necessarily want to take a test drive with somebody that they don't know and things like that. So, if that makes somebody feel more comfortable, then that's great because we have so many wonderful women who work in our organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had to get a new to us vehicle. It was used, but we went to Wendy at Subaru and bought, it was a Kia, but we bought it from her. And that was a great experience.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really take our pre-owned cars really, really seriously because it's not only about what you're buying and you take it off the lot, it's about the warranty that is provided afterwards and how well the vehicle has been reconditioned and cared for before you buy it. And that takes a lot of the sort of guesswork and risk out of buying a pre-owned vehicle when you buy it from Flow, because we actually have warranties that we put on every single one. And that was a standard that we actually started in 57 when the first pre-owned dealership was started in our organization. We were one of the first dealerships in the country to ever offer warranty of any kind with a vehicle. And
I love that.
Carry that through now.
Yeah. Because for me, I'm just, and my dad has made me biased, but I'm just never say never, but I'm not a new car girl. Like I'm probably always going to buy pre-owned cars. So it's good to know that there's warranties out there. And
and there's they're not all created equal. So you can also get some great advice from your sales professional about, like, for example, at Flow, the warranties that we provide allow you to be serviced anywhere in the country. So it's not as if you only can come back to a Flow dealership. If you're driving across country on a trip and you have a problem, your warranty will cover that.
Yeah.
But since you love pre-owned cars, I need to ask you, have you ever purchased an ex-service loaner?
No, but that sounds like it would be good, right?
It's one of the best kept secrets in the car business. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about. Now we're trying to market that better.
Yeah.
But I would be remiss if I didn't mention it.
Because those have been taken care of.
They come home to roost every night or two, right? They get washed, they get cared for. They're almost new, but gently have they been used and well cared for, and they're a great value.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
I like that.
I've purchased many myself.
I love it.
It's the move.
I love it.
It's the move.
So Amy, I want to get to know you a little bit. Can we ask a few questions? Okay. Who would you most like to sit next to on a 10-hour flight, and why?
I really don't have to think that hard. Honestly, it's my husband. He's my ride or die. He's
or fly and die.
Our fly and die. He's my person. I don't he's the person I want to be next to just constantly.
Love that.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been married?
This year we celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
We've been a couple since high school. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
High school sweethearts.
Yeah.
I love that you didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, no, I was like pretending to think for a second, but I was like,
it's a no-brainer.
I don't know. It's really not. That's really not something I have to think about.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So what is something that people are just obsessed with, but you do not get the point of it? It's kind of a hard question.
Well, it is, because you kind of risk, like, are you going to upset some folk with what you say? Well, I'm trying to be careful with what something that people are obsessed with that I couldn't care about. Goodness gracious. That's a really hard one, Brooke. Honestly,
you can pass.
Can I do a pass?
Yeah,
I feel like every answer that's about to come flying out of my mouth is probably not great.
We can talk about it off air.
Well, if you looked at my face, or if you look at me, you'll see the answer to that's probably hair dye. Like I'm not into that, but that's no judgment on anybody.
That's funny. Oh no, I don't like that one. What is something that you do every day that you wish could be automated?
Well, gosh, I'm actually working on automating a bunch of stuff, but
me too.
I wish I just had like a little robot in my kitchen that would fix my healthy stuff for me every day, because I'm always working on trying to make my breakfast and my lunch, which are usually like to-go items to head to the office, and it's just such a repetitive thing. I was like, is there some way that I can automate this without making it all store-bought?
Yeah.
It would just save me time, and I'm always trying to find little tricks to make that easier and faster.
That's a good answer. I like that.
Efficiency is a thing of mine.
Yeah. For me, it would be outfits, picking outfits. Like I love to pick out a cute outfit, but I've been using ChatGPT to make me like a list of like put together outfits based on things that are in my closet, because I just like I wear workout clothes all the time, and I need to wear other clothes, but it's just overwhelming to pick things out.
That's exactly how I pick my meal prep. Is
ChatGPT.
Well, I'm a Claude guy, but
sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, I mean, it's AI, and a lot of people think it's the end of the world, but you know what? Adapt.
Yeah.
and deal with it.
I think it's here to stay.
Yeah, there's no getting away from it now.
Well, it's really good for everybody to tool up on that, just figure out how to, it's just another
Use it to your advantage.
set of tools to have in your tool belt. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if you find a meal prep robot, let me know.
I think that's a total fantasy. I think that's a total fantasy.
It is so helpful though.
It's very Jetsons.
I meal prep. I try to meal prep breakfast and lunch, and it does make life so much easier when
Brooke
it's
probably
off the list.
doesn't know that reference.
I got
do
the
remember
Jetsons.
the Jetsons.
I feel like I was promised some things by the
Jetpacks.
Jetsons, the flying cars. I feel like
'cause I feel like what year was that supposed to be?
I have no idea.
We're past it.
Really?
I'm sure we're
Yeah.
past it.
It was supposed to be the 90s.
Oh, wow. They really missed that.
Yeah.
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 I was
Yeah.
promised jetpacks and flying cars. That's
I
all I
know.
know.
Yes.
That's all I know.
Flying cars, that freaks me out though. So, that's okay that we don't have that.
Oh, it's totally okay.
Even the self-driving cars, like I've seen a lot of, there's like Ubers and stuff that are not around here, I don't think yet, or maybe, but that freaks me out too. I like to be in control.
I like to be in control too. Like it was hard for me to give up my stick shift. That's how I like to be in control. I was like, I don't know. I think I want to change the gears myself.
That would have been a good question. So I should have known that you knew how to drive a stick shift. My dad, bless him, he tried so hard to teach me, and I never could get it. It's important though. I feel like I need to learn it.
I think people would have said that a while ago, but now it's really hard to even find a stick shift car.
That's true.
Which is, I think, too bad.
Yeah.
But
my husband can drive one, and I feel like men should definitely know how to drive the stick shift.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're trying to think about, heavy equipment but that's like a whole different skill. Like those
true.
operate totally differently.
Yeah, they don't operate the same way, because my family was in the trucking business for a long time, and I did drive trucks for a while, and it's not driven the same way. You actually rarely use the clutch.
Huh. So in the car lots, is it very few stick shifts?
Anymore,
Cars?
there's just very few that are being produced. But at the same time, I mean, as a car person, I can't imagine not knowing how to drive a stick, because if you do get that product and need to demonstrate that and sell it, you absolutely should know what you're doing.
Or what if you're being chased by a serial killer and the only option is a straight drive?
Well, actually, that is
I've had that nightmare before.
That's the thinking that, years ago, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, somebody would say, well, women should all know how to drive it, because what if you had to get away?
Yeah.
What if you had to jump into a car? So I just think it's just like any skills. Like the more skills you can have, the better. I still remember my first day on that car lot at Volkswagen trying to figure out how to drive a Beetle that was a stick. Yeah. Because even though I knew how to drive stick, I didn't know how to put a Beetle in reverse.
Oh,
it's a totally different thing. It's totally different. So I was like, that was one of those moments where my colleagues on the sales floor got a good laugh out of that.
That's funny. Yeah, my mom had a Beetle briefly, and it was a stick shift, and I was in like elementary school, maybe middle school, and she would have me change the gears while she drove, which is so unsafe in hindsight.
Well, you couldn't do it if she didn't have the clutch to press. So, you probably nothing was going to happen there.
So I think if I was being chased by a serial killer, I could get away in a stick shift, but it would just be, it would be rough, but I could do it.
The worst part's starting.
Yeah.
Once you get going, it's a whole lot easier.
That's the whole point. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh.
That's right.
Well, Amy, it was so much fun to get to know you a little bit, talk about Flow and what a great family business they are. And another thank you to Land Rover Greensboro for sponsoring the Women on the Move conference this year. It was awesome to have y'all there.
Thank you. You guys did a great job with that. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you. And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags online at Forsyth Mags on Instagram and on Facebook. And you can find us online, ForsythWoman.com, ForsythFamilyMagazine.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, or if you've ever enjoyed one of our, 260 some episodes, we would love it if you would leave us a rating or a review. And that's all I got. That's a wrap for today. Thanks, guys. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Whew, that's a mouthful.